ladies and gentlemen, the dreaded number 3.
While growing up in Kingsport, Bob Mentor built model airplanes and spent endless hours at Tri-Cities Airport longing to become a pilot. Following enrollment at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical Institute in Miami, Florida, he soloed a Piper J3 Cub at Tamiami Airport on October 25, 1960. Studied aeronautical engineering, airframe, and power plant technology, and earned a commercial pilot's license. Following graduation, Bob built flying time as a freelance pilot, flying a variety of single and multi-engine aircraft around the country and the Caribbean. He worked with a major Cessna dealer and managed a small FBO in South Florida. In 1963, Bob became a corporate pilot based at TRI, where he flew a Beechcraft Twin Bonanza and an Aero Commander 720 to destinations nationwide. He later returned to Miami to work for the newly formed Burnside-Ott Aviation Training Center. BATC became the largest civilian flight training organization in the world, and during his 8 years there, Bob served in a variety of management positions. Mentor again returned to Tennessee in 1973 to serve during Governor Winfield Dunn's administration, where he became Director of Development and Operations for the TDOT, Bureau of Aeronautics, the agency responsible for the state's system of 76 public airports. While at the Bureau of Aeronautics, he oversaw the development of airports across Tennessee. After leaving state government, Bob formed his own firm, Bob Mentor and Associates, and contracted to sell advertising for AOPA Pilot Magazine and was a consultant to other major aviation events. AOPA contracted with Mentor as the regional representative for member services and governmental affairs in the mid-'80s. To date, he has represented AOPA for more than 35 years and is currently employed as AOPA's Southern Region Manager in 8 states in the Southeast. Bob Mentor has earned a reputation as a staunch advocate for general aviation and as an accomplished aviation policy strategist, marketing, and technical consultant. He has served numerous aviation technical and advisory groups throughout the Southeast, co-founded the Tennessee Aviation Association, and founded the Tennessee Aviation Hall of Fame. In 2002, the Tennessee Aeronautics Commission awarded Mr. Mentor its highest individual honor for his career contributions to aviation. Bob Mentor has been an AOPA member for more than 51 years, a member of EAA and the Ancient and Secret Society of Quiet Birdmen, TYS Hangar. For his extraordinary and enduring contributions to aviation for Tennessee, our nation, and the world, Bob Mentor is honored by and inducted into the Tennessee Aviation Hall of Fame this 3rd day of November, 2012.
Bubba. And to adorn Bob with his...
I want my wife to do
yeah,
that.
I'm announcing that.
All right.
Well, you...
I'm just... hell, I'm still trying to run things.
I know. To adorn him with the medallion is the real power behind Bob Mentor, his wife, Karen.
She is the wind beneath my wings, and anybody here that knows my wife, and most of you do know, that this really ought to be hers.
That's right. There you go.
Put that up there. I'll get cotton out in 10 seconds. Boy, I hadn't had one of those in a long time.
And of course,
Karen,
This plaque, she may want to take that to the table for you.
turn around for Tom. Whoops, you got a good grip on it, Tom.
And there's the box for the Medea. And now, we're going to let him speak.
That's the bad part. This wasn't supposed to happen, you know. I'd asked that I be a posthumous induction. And so Don Baker started on about 3 years ago, and John Ball and Bob Sutterth and Steve Johnson at Eastern Aviation Fuels and Roy Abrams and Darrell Sexton just wouldn't take no for an answer. And I guess some others wouldn't as well, and I'm grateful to you for it. I guess I understand better than anybody what this means, and it means a lot to me. But I'll tell you what means more to me than anything is those of you that came for me tonight, and I want to recognize some of them. Greg Pecoraro was here, my boss from AOPA, and so I've had to trim my remarks considerably because Greg reminded me when I became a full-time AOPA employee at the tender age of 71 in January of this year, or 72, I'm sorry. How old am I? He said, you know, Bob, you're an AOPA employee 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Be careful. So I've had to trim things back a whole lot. I mean, I spoke up in Kentucky. I kept my act together somehow. All that sort of thing. It's been a lot of fun. I'm honored too by Henry Lowe from Lowe Aviation in Macon, Georgia, and Mary Cumming all the way from Macon. Henry, I so appreciate it. You mean a lot to me. You're a great friend. I was master of ceremonies when Henry's dad was inducted into the Georgia Aviation Hall of Fame, and I've been master of ceremonies down there a few times, and that was certainly a privilege. Another friend I want to mention, and I'm doing this is dangerous, I understand that because there's so many here who are, but Wynn Turney from Kentucky, the Commissioner of Aviation, Commonwealth of Kentucky, and I have only been friends since I think we said tonight, Glenn, about 2008 or 2008, wasn't it? But we're just brothers joined at the hip, no pun intended. Buddy, I know yours are fake. But Wynn and I have limped around in a few meetings. I testified before the Murfreesboro City Council a few weeks ago, and as I stood up, I said, I'm living proof that a damn motorcycle is a whole lot more dangerous than an airplane. That's what I'm doing with these funny shoes on. That's why I'm limping. I appreciate my QB brothers coming from TYS over in Knoxville. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. And the Knoxville hangar, all the hangars in Tennessee, I think, are probably here too. I particularly, in that regard, appreciate Charlie Nelson, pardon me, who was my sponsor. Charlie's here. God bless you, buddy. I love you. You're a great man. So are you, Merrill Moore. I didn't know you were coming, you rascal, and I thank you for doing it, coming all the way from Johnson City. I want to take a sip here a minute. Hell, I haven't been this nervous since I got married, the third time. There's part of my career I want to tell you about. Burnside Odd Aviation Training Center became the largest civilian flight training organization in the world. And when I left there in '73, we had 172 training airplanes. Now, you have to swallow a minute to digest that one. That's a lot of machines. 100 of them were 150s. That was one of the highlights of my career, truthfully. I founded a trade show that really didn't last very long because I got my money, but the company that produced it kept raping it while they were conducting it. It was called Amtech. Took place, what was Karen, a couple of years in Dallas. That was a pretty neat thing. I got contracted to build the Tennessee Museum of Aviation. How many of you have been there? A lot of you. This is the first time we've left there, and I know you enjoy being there, and I do too. My fingerprints are all over that. I loved every minute of doing that job. When I was being interviewed at AOPA, Tim Fortune, our HR guy, and Greg said, Tim said, tell me about the big project you did and how many mistakes you made. And I said, well, I built a museum of aviation and used another man's money. It was a dickens of a big project. I didn't make any mistakes. He looked at me like, boy, there's something wrong with this guy. He's plummied up with himself. But the truth is, we almost made a lot of mistakes. But when you're operating with somebody else's money and you know what an incredible facility that is, you're careful. and I was. Mary Catherine and I worked on that together, and we had more fun than we were entitled to. It was great. So building the museum was a big thing. But my love is my work I do for AOPA, and I've done it for a long time. I've represented this association since I was teaching some Air Safety Institute kids at Burnside out in Miami to fly. And I just adore my work. All of you who know me know I do, and it's the most fun you can have with your clothes on, and I just think it's terrific. But I want you to meet my family. My son and his wife are down here, Bo and Brianna, and they're the parents of the Minner line of grandchildren, and they gave us a son and a daughter both, and we're proud of them. Stand up, guys. I want y'all to meet my kids. And our girls to whom we have been parents and grandparents, Christy and Karen Coleridge. Stand up, girls. And we didn't tell the rest of them about this. We've got a whole pile of young'uns around and grandchildren, and Bo and Brianna didn't dare bring theirs down here because Lowen would have been up here with me and he'd want to talk more than I do. But seriously, the Aviation Hall of Fame is I don't know how to describe this to you. Without taking a thing away from this honor tonight, and it means the world to me, even though I didn't really want it. And when I found it, it never occurred to me. But there is no way on earth that I can be more satisfied than I have been watching this thing for the past 10 years come to fruition. It has grown, it's got a lot of support. All of you who have contributed money to it for tonight and forever, the ones that we had know that. There's no way on earth I can express my gratitude to you sufficiently. This is an extraordinary thing. I don't own this. All I did was start it, and you probably know, most of you know why I did. Evelyn Bryan Johnson, Mama Bird, was getting recognized everywhere else but here. 57,640 hours of flying time that lady had. And I thought, my goodness, this is a crime. So Mac McWhirter, Henry, and Mac just prodded me along. He said, Minner, you got to do something about getting Tennessee in Aviation Hall of Fame. So I'm just the guy that went down and incorporated. I don't think for a moment, and you know better, that I did this by myself. I did not. My wife did a lot of it, I'll tell you that, and God bless her for it. But I didn't, I just sat around and watched it happen. But we've had a great board of directors. We've had the credibility that the Hall of Fame has now, and its reputation and its stature are entirely accountable to people that we've inducted, as you see here and here. I mean, we've inducted some incredibly great Americans, and the general's one of them, certainly. Hard act to follow, I'll tell you that. That was lovely. I enjoyed every minute of it. And that's the great part of the Tennessee Aviation Hall of Fame. I appreciate it. I do very much appreciate it. And I thank you very much. And John Black is the most able hands in the world. And this Hall of Fame will go to heights you cannot imagine under John's leadership. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you.
Well, Big Bubba, I'll just have to say thank you from all of us. We appreciate the vision of the Hall of Fame, and you kind of run things, so we appreciate being prodded by you, and this is a special, special night.